Hi everyone, this is Caitlin with Kait's Collectibles, and today I am doing a vintage Sailor Moon toy review. This is for the Sailor Star Yell, so sort of the fighting star that the Sailor Starlights used in the fifth and final season of the Sailor Moon anime, the Sailor Stars season. Sailor Stars happens to be my favorite season, so a lot of the toys, collectibles, items I've had over the years or have actually kept have been from the final season. The Sailor Starlights Henshin or RPG toys in particular don't seem to come up a ton on eBay recently, and when they do, they tend to be fairly expensive. So I've mulled over for a while the keeping or sale of these particular items simply because there is some value in them, and with the items that are being remade right now for the Proplica series, I'm not sure that they'll ever actually get around to remaking these, so I guess only time will tell. But the box is sort of similar to what a lot of the boxes from the vintage toys looked like. Same thing, bright, colorful. You'll notice that the feathers that are highlighted on the box, that's one of the sort of themes, I guess, of Sailor Stars. A lot of feathers blowing with Sailor Moon's wings and everything like that. The toy itself comes with a pin that highlights the Sailor Starlight, so there's a section on the box pointing that out because it's hard to see through the window. The Sailor Moon logo that they've done here is different. It's not one of the, I guess, more typical logos, especially with the sort of the jewel in behind it. That's not really what it normally looks like. And then they've got the Sailor Starlights down in the bottom right corner with the Bandai logo, as well as the name of the toy going across the front, and a picture of a happy little girl holding it and wearing the gigantic pin that it comes with. On the top of the box, just to highlight this yet again, the name of the toy, Eternal Sailor Moon, the official silver sticker showing that it is an official product, as well as the Sailor Stars official logo from that fifth season. The sides of the box as well, they all seem to highlight the name of the toy and the Sailor Starlights. Stars being my favorite season, it's one of the seasons that seem to be perhaps a little more rare in terms of toys showing up on eBay in general or through any other secondhand sort of markets. So I find that it's nice when I'm able to get ones like this. So the other sides here are just highlighting how you put the batteries in, the pin, the actual function of the toy itself, which I'll demonstrate as well. So what we'll do here is we'll take it out of the package. So it comes in a plastic casing with really no other protection. It does fit rather snugly into the plastic. Before I talk about the star itself, just to highlight the pin that comes with it. So I'm pretty sure I never even tried to wear it, but the whole pin is really quite large with just a really basic safety pin clasp in the back. So if you were to find this and it was missing the pin, it would be really easy to replace. Just to highlight how large it is as well, you can see like from the length of my palm to almost my ring finger, it's not absolutely gigantic. So trying to imagine a kid actually wearing this is pretty unlikely. And nowadays they probably wouldn't ship out a toy with a big old safety pin for kids to poke themselves with either. The colors used on it as well are a little unusual, just because really none of those are colors that I would say are associated with Sailor Stars. Maybe a little bit in terms of the blue, green, and purple for the Starlights themselves, because their accessory colors were like blue for fighter, green for healer, and purple for maker. But Other than that, like the bright orange Sailor Starlights, the neon in the background, just kind of a period, a product of the times, I guess. Now the star itself, I really like. It's sort of a teal plastic. It's mostly been stored out of the light, so it hasn't had a whole lot of light damage. A lot of these toys, the plastic discolors over time, so I do find that it's important to keep them out of direct sunlight for that reason. The little wing tips, also I like this. They are a little bit of a bendy plastic, but they have these little glitter pieces in them, which I think was a nice little touch considering they're, you know, just plastic little things that don't do anything off the center of the toy. It's really quite a thick toy. Again, if a little kid was holding it and trying to demonstrate being the character, their hands probably wouldn't be able to hold it very well. The back is where the battery compartment and speaker are, and it's about as simple as it can possibly get to open. And it just takes 2 AA batteries. I just put fresh ones in before the review. So especially with the vintage toys, really make sure that you take the batteries out of the toy before you store it for display, because they do corrode and that can cause damage to the electronics in the toy or make it non-functional. Unfortunately, it does have these rounded edges on it, so you can't really stand it up on its own without support. It'll fall over. So if you're someone who likes to take toys out of the box to display them, that's something to consider. It'll need something to lean up against. Now the front of the star is where the musical function all stems from. It's got multiple different colors here, sort of the colors of the inner Senshi. And you would think that the center button would actually do something, but no, it does absolutely nothing. So it plays a number of different sounds and then kind of combines them all to make some really unusual drum music. So I'll just kind of demonstrate. Each button makes a solo sound. And you can see that the lights flash in different positions when I'm pressing it more than once. So it's all a bunch of drum noises. And then the blue button puts a whole bunch of these together. And by pressing the other buttons, you can actually kind of change up what the music it's playing is doing. And then to turn it off, you simply press the blue button at the top again. So pressing these buttons over and over again won't change it to off once it's actually going. The blue button at the top is where you do that. So the music choices themselves are, in my opinion, a little bit strange. I do need to go back and maybe watch the Stars season again to see if there's a reason that it sounds like a whole bunch of electronic drums. Just because from what I remember when they use the item, when they're doing their attacks, I don't remember hearing drum sounds like that pretty much at all. One of the things about some of the toys from the Stars season was simply that they had kind of odd musical cues. I don't have the locket for Sailor Moon's transformation for the Stars season, but that one is kind of infamous for having been a really beautiful toy with really terrible sound effects. But at some point that is on my list, so I'm really hoping that Proplica eventually gets around to making a version of her Stars transformation locket, because a more accurate one would be really, really, really nice. So for a vintage toy, I think this one's held up quite well. It's obviously specific to the final season of Sailor Moon, which was never dubbed into English. Viz is working on that now, so eventually with all their Blu-ray releases, we'll finally have an English language version of that final season. But for the time being, it's not maybe an item the average person who has not seen the Japanese language or the original Sailor Moon would know about. So it's maybe a little more obscure in terms of that. And of course, there was never a North American version of the product made. So it is a little bit more limited in that respect as well. So for me, as both a Sailor Moon fan and specifically a fan of the final season of Sailor Moon, Sailor Stars being my favorite, definitely an item that was worth getting. I believe I purchased it from a local anime convention many years ago, so I would have gotten it for a really reasonable price. But if you can find it on eBay or Kijiji, Craigslist, whatever you have in your area for a decent price, I would certainly say that if it's working and you love Sailor Moon and you love that final season, worth having. If you're not a fan of the Sailor Stars season, or especially of the Starlights characters, probably not going to be a big miss in your collection if you don't have it. So hopefully my review was helpful, demonstrating some of the features of the toy and how it works and what to look for with the packaging. If you like this review, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see more of, whether it's vintage toy reviews, the new reviews, the petites, the figure arts, whatever is your favorite, let me know and I'll try to accommodate. Thanks very much.